Hi, I'm Amanda, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the best online banking comparison sites for high yield savings. So it's really important to do your research before opening a high yield savings account because different banks have different offerings, like the accounts have different characteristics. The big thing you want to look at is the APY, the annual percentage yield. That's how much in interest that you could earn over a year, and it includes compounding. So that can really make a big difference because some banks have lower APYs than others, some have higher. So it can really add up, especially if you have a lot of money in the savings account. So you also want to look at any kind of account fees, see if there's any like monthly fees associated with the account, and also minimum balance requirements. Some of them require you to have a certain balance in your account before the APY kicks in. So there really is a like variety of features that you'll be looking at with high yield savings accounts. They're not all the same, so it is really important to kind of do your research and look at multiple sites before signing up for an account. So I'm going to show you some of the best websites you can use to compare online banks specific to high yield savings. So the first one I want to show you is Best Money. This site can help you compare a lot of different financial products, with online banking being one of them. They do have a section here for savings accounts, and they do list several of them and they rank them. Um, so as you can see, they have like 9 accounts. So this isn't like a ton. This is a pretty narrow list. But there are benefits to that because some of the other sites have so many banks that it can become difficult to filter through. So the way that with Best Money, they've already kind of done that for you and kind of narrowed down the list to the top options. They also rank them by their score. They give each bank a score out of 10 possible points. Um, and they give you information. You can easily see the APY. And you can also, there's like other details here. So, like they give information on bonus offers, like the select savings from Barclays has $200 bonus after depositing $25,000. So that's something to know. So you can really look through that, and it is just a helpful site for doing like a quick comparison and not being overwhelmed by information. They also have reviews on their site, so you can click any bank and read like a detailed review about the high yield savings account. Look at like customer service, interest rates, fees, mobile apps, all of that. And then they do have an article bank to just learn more about high yield savings in general. So Best Money is a pretty good site for this, and it's just really a good site as far as like usability goes, and everything's pretty straightforward. So the next one I want to show you is deposit accounts. This one is a little different because it is all specific to banking. Because a lot of the sites are just broader financial comparison sites, with banking being just one of the things they compare, but deposit accounts is exclusive to banking. So they do cover high yield savings accounts. As you can see, they cover both banks and credit unions. And I mean, they cover so many of them. They say from over 11,000 banks and credit unions. So that is a very large number, but they fortunately do have several ways you can filter through the banks, which I will show you here. So they do have like an updated list of best high yield savings accounts. You do have to scroll past this. These are like their featured offers, but then when you get down here, you can see they have a full list. They have 14 different pages, and you can filter through. It shows you the APY, any service charges, minimum to earn the APY, and then the minimum deposit amount. So you can type in like your location if you want like in-person banking, deposit amount, and then you can filter if you want to view banks, credit unions. If you want to look at online banks or only local, you can do that. And then you can sort by any of these features as well. So a popular way to sort would be by APY, highest to lowest. And they do have ratings for each bank that they give it, so that is helpful. They don't really have in-depth editorial reviews, though. They actually rely pretty heavily on user reviews. If you go here to their bank reviews section, there are so many banks here that have reviews, but they are all user reviews. So you can click there and see like what people thought about the bank. So it is helpful to see the user reviews, but you do want to keep in mind that they may or may not be the most reliable. So that's kind of the gist of deposit accounts. Yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of features here about other types of banking as well. And then they also have a blog section to just kind of learn more in general about savings. NerdWallet, it's kind of similar to Best Money in that it is kind of a broader financial site. They have information about credit cards, insurance, mortgages, personal loans, all these things. So, banking, of course, is included. So I'll go here to best high yield savings accounts. So their list is also pretty short. It's kind of like how Best Money was. It's not like a really extensive list. Like you're not getting 14 pages of banks like you did with deposit accounts. So what you can see here is that NerdWallet gives each bank a rating out of 5. They also show you the APY for each bank. If there's any minimum balances, they tell you that too. Like for CIT Bank, there's a $5,000 minimum balance for the APY. And then any bonus offers also, and then it links directly to the bank. So they do give it a rating. You can click on that rating and then see the overall review. They kind of start with pros and cons, and then get into all this. So it is really helpful to kind of read through this and see exactly how they arrived at their rating and just get more specifics about the bank overall. So it is pretty helpful for that. They also do have some other tools like banking calculators, compound interest calculator. It can show you kind of how your balance can grow over the years depending on your APY and things like that. So I would totally recommend using this tool and kind of getting an idea of that because it can really show you the difference in how different APYs can really affect the amount of interest you earn. Next, I want to show you Bankrate. So Bankrate, it shows you information about a lot of different financial products. So banking, mortgages, investing, credit cards, loans, home equity, insurance. It covers a ton of different products. So as far as high yield savings accounts go, you can kind of personalize your list. They do show you quite a few different banks here. It is a pretty extensive list overall, as you can see. They say, I mean, in this list here, there's over 100 different banks that they show you. So what you can do is you can personalize your search, put in your zip code, savings account, deposit amount. You can sort by like highest APY or minimum balances, bank rate scores, any of that. Something I really like with Bankrate is that they have this comparison tool. So you can pick up to 3 banks and compare them all at once side by side and get an idea of the APY and just also estimated earnings depending on what you put in as your deposit amount. So that is really helpful. So Bankrate does have scores for most of the banks along with reviews. So you can read through the review, get a pros and cons list, also just kind of get overall look at customer experience, how they compare to other banks. So I would totally recommend reading the review. I would definitely do that. So that's kind of a look at Bankrate. Lastly, I want to show you Wallet Hub. This site is pretty well known for like credit card comparison, but they do also cover other products like loans and banking. So as far as banking goes, they do have information about savings accounts. They have quite a few different savings accounts that they compare. They have over 1,000 savings accounts, which is quite a lot, but they do have extensive filters that you can use to kind of narrow it down. So you can sort, again, by like APY, annual savings, any of that. Wallet Hub does give each one a rating, so you can kind of look at that. So you can choose like if you're a general consumer, if you're looking specifically at savings, if you want to look at banks or credit unions, and then there's additional filters for like online only, traditional banking, also monthly fees. So I would totally recommend using the filters because there are just so many banks on their site. So they do also have user review options. Like you could go to like this bank and type in a user rating if you wanted. So that is kind of helpful. Also, you can click here and read reviews that other people wrote as well. So it is kind of similar to deposit accounts in that way, but So yeah, it's good to kind of get an idea of what people's experiences have been like, but it may also not be like the most reliable because you just don't really know who these people are. So that's kind of a look at Wallet Hub. So I don't know if I mentioned here, they do also have a comparison tool similar to Bankrate. You can compare up to 7 at once, which is quite a lot, but this can be very helpful for getting a quick look at the APY, the account minimums, any sign up bonuses, all that. So I would totally do that. So yeah, so these are kind of some of the sites that I would recommend that you visit if you're planning to open a high yield savings account. They can be really helpful in kind of breaking down kind of the APY information, helping you compare that. It's also good to read the reviews and really get kind of a more well-rounded look at the specifics. So yeah, so all these sites are pretty helpful. I would recommend visiting multiple sites and kind of comparing the reviews and information across them just to make sure that you're getting the full picture. Kind of the top site that I would pick as far as just like usability would be Best Money because it is pretty simple. They don't have like pages and pages of banks to look through. It's pretty streamlined, and then they do have the ratings are very clear. Reviews, all that. So yeah, so all these sites are pretty good. You may want to start with Best Money just because it is kind of straightforward and more simply laid out. So I hope that you found this helpful, and yeah, I hope this helps you on your journey of finding the right high yield savings account. Thank you.